from Cabo Town. Today we're painting Wargame Foundry's Freebooter pirates. I've always liked these figures. They've remind me of an old Citadel Games Workshop design. I guess you could say it's kind of a thicker body set than what you'd find with Blood and Plunder miniatures. So here I've already set up a few basic colors. I put in some green jackets, blue jackets, some necktie kind of red scarves, and red sashes on some belts. The first part of the video was kind of all over the place, and so I put all of the figures on my favorite holding tool, which is a pill bottle with removable top and then filled with kitty litter so they don't fall over too easy. Right now I'm on black, and I've already done a zenithal base with pure black, all from underneath and sideways, and then I come down with white at a 45-degree angle from the front and back, giving that shadows. And of course these are contrast paints, so you're going to get see-through paint, and it'll allow that zenithal shadow to show through, giving a neat effect. Right now we're just in the priming stage, so basically I'm covering up most of the white with the transparent colors, contrast or speed paint. I'm really starting to like speed paints more and more as the colors choices seem to be jumping out there quite a bit. My favorite metallics, of course, are still the Vallejo, and you'll see me use those later on. So with this batch, I'm doing the full package, which I believe was 7 figures at the time, and I'm trying to be true to the original paint scheme that you find on the Wargame Foundry's website. So I'm going to paint like that. I don't paint the same style as the original artist of the figures that's up there, and a good artist he is, I'm not knocking that, but it's kind of a clean cartoony style with the black lining and stuff like that for using kind of a Nuln oil wash into the cracks, whereas I might do that every now and then. I tend to favor using enamels for my weathering, and AK interact like rust and deep dark brown rust, fresh rust, stuff like that. So they're not going to be clean, I guess you would say, like they just cleaned all their gear. You will see rust develop later. So what I'm doing now basically is coating all of those, and I'm going to let you sit back and kind of enjoy the music. Pirate themed. Check the credits for some of the people who created that stuff, and I'll pick up in a little while when we jump to a different method or something. But oh, one note, I started using golden maple brushes. Sam Lintz, great painter, by the way. Great, got him off of picked him up from Uncle Adam, I guess. He interviews Sam all the time. They must play games together or something, but the guy's pretty good, and he uses the brushes that are here. I bought a set, and I'm actually quite tickled with them. They are, I guess, a Chinese brand of brush, and I know the contrast paint is hard on brushes, but this large brush that you see there kept the tip the whole time. It's got that body and held a lot of paint, although contrast paint usually comes off quite heavily as it's doing its little tricks of settling into cracks and doing, still being transparent at the same time. And yeah, great brushes. You can see that. I mean, it's brand new, but it really is enjoyable painting with those brushes. Golden maple. I don't have any links to it. Just look it up yourself. So here we're going to go with the original colors of what you found in the website by Wargame Foundries for the original painter. I'm just doing my style on it, so I'm going to try to stay as close as I can to the original colors. And yeah. So still using the black here. Going to do a lot of black with the shoes and vests and some of the hats. That's me again. By now you probably already figured out we jumped over to some brown colors, and some of my favorite colors of the brown range for the contrast colors by Games Workshop are the Gore Grunta, I guess, brown. Really, really a milk chocolate brown, very, very nice color. Really, really like this color. I think I have 2 or 3 bottles of it actually, and the other brown color that you'll see here is going to be snake bite brown or something. It's kind of a yellow brown. It really is cool looking. And if I need 2 different browns, those are my 2 go. Snake bite leather and Gore Grunta browns are great. Like when I'm about to paint blonde hair, I'll use snake bite brown, and then come in with a little bit of a dry brush with yellow over top of that. It really looks good. So Gore Grunta brown is great for, like, right here I'm painting the rifles and stuff. Love that brown. sorry about the lack of action there. This particular one of the figures, I kind of misplaced there for a minute and I couldn't find him. But he has a definitely a different color blue over jacket, and so I'm trying to put that in there right now. But I had to actually find the figure and then find the paint, because for videos I usually pull my paint before I start painting, so I don't do what I just did, start looking for the paints. But I think I go back in and do 1 to 2 coats on this. The neat thing about the transparent paints is if you paint another color, paint one layer down, you could come back again after the first layer dries and you could put another layer down and it makes it darker. So it's good for shading again. Underneath things and stuff like that, and it's the same color but it just makes it darker. Just a little kind of a contrast or watercolor trick you could look into with the speed paint and contrast or transparent paints. So they're starting to look good. I really like these figures. Like I said, been wanting them for a long time, and finally found an excuse to buy some. I used to really, the next color out, let's just say, is Apothecary White. So it's actually really light gray. Really, really light gray for contrast colors, because they don't have a white. If you paint on white, that is it. It's already white. So on this particular color, I started liking it more and more, but I usually follow it up with a little bit of diluted down black wash of some kind to sit in the deeper cracks of the clothing or whatever I'm painting on this. But you can see I'm putting it onto the shirts, and on that last figure, I think that's Mad Alfonso. All of these come named, by the way, and Mad Alfonso had striped pants, and I painted on top of that as well. It was given a neat. It just sits right in those cracks and makes the white highlights look even whiter. Really, really good color. And that's Molly. Molly's a big girl, and kind of a heavy drinker, as it seems. But looks like we did that top of that blouse in that light gray, and it turned out really effective. Alright, so this one of the last colors I'm using here is, I think it's Bacillum Gray. It's actually not black, even though it looks like it a little bit. When you get up closer, it is a very dark gray contrast, and I like the color a lot. And if it's a vital role in my painting tool belt, but you can see here that both of the ladies have got these gray pants, and it really is a neat paint the way it goes deep into shadows and yet still allows a really um, light effect on the higher portions of the figure. Okay, so at this point I had to kind of go backwards and find my flesh paint I probably put away. That last figure I mentioned earlier, I kind of misplaced it, and I had to go back and put in some flesh color for the figure that was missing during the flesh painting step. And as I was painting the Molly figure with the mug, I noticed her hands, I skipped her hands for some reason. And so I didn't have those painted, so you'll see me catch up on those here with kind of going backwards and catching up these two to the rest of the squad here. Alright, so now what I'm doing is pulling out my silver. My favorite metallics are these Vallejo. You can see it sitting there. And I use a dark steel or a dark aluminum or a dark metal the first time I paint anything metallic. And if it's supposed to be sparkly or shiny, I'll usually use a higher level color like silver or platinum or chrome even to do highlights on this stuff, and it really makes it look nicer. But yeah, so here goes our silver. Really great coverage too for an airbrush type of paint. It's some of the best paints you can get as far as metallics go. So after the large earthquake there appeared, me hitting the camera, I was reaching for my inks, which I have on a shelf to the right there, and I drop a little drop of ink onto the base, as you can see there, and it quickly spreads. It's really a nice way to just get some quick coverage on a base, and you can later come back and add more color to that. But the ink method is really awesome. It's acrylic ink, by the way, not water-based, and you can see how quick that stuff spreads. Really nice, and it comes in these little bottles with a dropper in it, and you can just plop it on. Wet your brush a little bit if you need it to be a little thinner, and real quick get some coverage in there. Makes the figures look instantly amazing. I think, you know, painting figures is one thing, but one third of the look of the model, if not more sometimes, is the base. If you have a really cool base, your figure just looks really cooler. Anyway, ink. I think that's burnt sienna. And of course I'm going to put some grass and some other stuff on that later, but I just want to get some quick color on it too. Once again, priming stage. Now once again you'll find a delay. What I did was I kind of had a wild hair and wanted to put some, there was a couple pieces that had yellow on them, and I didn't like the vibrancy of the yellow, but I kind of talked myself into it after painting on this part. But you can see the insides of that. He's got an under jacket on, and painted the captain's under jacket there, and one of the blue figures had some yellow trim on his jacket. So I went ahead and did that, and that's Pro Quill, not transparency paint, very bright yellow, and I paint a lot of brighter colors on purpose so these really fit into my scheme here, because the next step, which I'll show in part 2 of this, I guess we'll call it a series now, I use my AK interactive weathering stuff with the rust and the brown matte kind of filter that I place over everything, and then use a reduction method later to pull that off, and it adds a lot of realism. So yeah, so once again, yellow trim, and it just keeps looking better and better. Love these figures. Alright, the last step in this video, which you probably already figured out, is I'm going through and putting a flesh wash on the flesh, and it adds a real, a lot of shadow in the face, and it adds a lot of red undertones to the flesh as well. It really just settles that flesh right down, and gives a great effect, and I believe that's Pro Quill Dark Warm Flesh. for that is that coating. And after that, we're going to wrap this video up and see you in part 2. Hopefully you guys will catch me in that one where I do weathering and some AK interactive stuff. Thanks for watching in advance.